Today, and if you look at it, we were truly just a better football team than FIU. And I think about just how far our program has come in 2 years. Where 2 years ago they came in and beat us, and then last year it was a 7-point game. But just to watch us just on offense, defense, and then the kicking game, just how our team responded. And yesterday we usually have a walkthrough on a Friday, some mental walkthrough, and I just didn't like how things were going, so I stopped the walkthrough. I made it start over and just had to. Had to tell the team that's not the expectations around here anymore. We have raised the bar, and I expect us to go out today and perform. And we did, and they responded well.
Coach, why do you think it took 4 games in the season to put together what most would say was your best all-around performance?
Well, it's just who you played too. You have to look at that. I don't think that FIU is a very good team right now. They're going through a rebuilding process, and I think they're going to get a turnaround because that's a good area for them to recruit, and they're in Miami.
What did you like about what you saw? What some of the things that went well?
Well, you look at just at the running back position, I thought that Dominique did an unbelievable job of breaking that long run, and then Norris had some good runs there, and then Dyer, but our offensive line just did an overall better job of blocking, where we were able to just put bodies on bodies and just move the line of scrimmage. And Teddy had the 4 throws for touchdown. Then defensively, how we just went and just shut them down. I don't know how many yards rushing they had. I don't think they had many. Then just overall, I think it was around 30 total yards of offense.
Coach, when the defense holds anybody, no matter who you're going for 3 yards rushing, just talk about the effort up front with those guys. And you've said it before.
Well, when you can just overpower a team, which we did up front, and then you're in the backfield, you think about just all the negative yardage plays that we had. And that's what you like, from the sacks to the lost yardage plays. And we're just guys just swarming to the ball, get to the football.
The walkthrough Friday, what did you see that you didn't like? What needed to change in terms of the mentality?
Well, it's just a mental approach, and when you just can't have a bust. Like we had on offense, and what we do is we go offense versus defense. And it's more of a walkthrough, but a back goes the wrong way, and then we kick the ball off, and there's 2 guys standing, and the ball lays on the ground, and then we show the defense, balls thrown out there in the flat for a touchdown. And I said enough, so I just said we're going to start this over. I don't care how long it takes. We're at 10 o'clock tonight. We're at 10 o'clock, but we're going to do it the right way.
Is that kind of a challenge when playing an opponent that might not be the best?
Well, it's just you have to respect the game, and I think you have to respect your opponent. So it doesn't matter who you play, because at any given time, if you're not really locked into it, you can go get beat. So and that's what I want them to understand. And you guys, we've come a long ways with this program. We're nowhere near where we should be, so let's not get full of ourselves.
Charlie, were you aware that there was a running clock going?
Well, what happened was we just came over, we talked, so both coaches talked, and let's just get out.
So that was requested by a youth coach, or that was mutually agreed upon?
It's just mutually agreed upon.
Coach, when you look at on Dominique's run, Teddy is 80 yards down the field trying to screen. I don't know if he was trying to block, but trying to make a screen at the goal line. What's that say to everybody else on the team when the leader's doing that, when the quarterback's doing that?
Well, when your best player's down there, then it speaks volumes. And then, it's a total team effort. And then, guys like Teddy's not always, sometimes he has to block the youth, so he breaks that long run. And you saw Teddy, he ran downfield trying to screen a guy off.
Michael Lee getting back involved and getting a touchdown. First of all, how nice is it for him to get that with all he's been through, and he seems to be working himself back in quite a few reps.
Well, if you look at it, wide receivers, they're all going to get a lot of work. And then Michael Lee today had him a big catch, which he needed just for his confidence.
The first segment of your season is complete. What are your thoughts about where this team is and how far it's moving from camp?
Well, you look at it, the first segment's done, and it's our non-conference. Now we're getting ready to step into our conference play. Now every game counts, and we're going to have to get better. We're going to have to improve. We need to improve the run game on offense. Defensively, we can't allow a team to come in and run the ball on us wherever we go. And then special teams, we have to do a better job in the cover game. And then the return yards, we need to get the ball returned to positive yards.
Coach, what were the returns of the running clock? When did that start? Was it halftime or start of the third? And have you ever had a running clock in the game before?
Well, I don't think it's so much it was a running clock. He just said, hey, let's just keep the clock moving. And I just don't know when we started or when the conversation happened, but I just said, hey, it's mutually agreed upon, so let's just get this game over with.
Just kind of winding it at times that you normally wouldn't.
Well, you don't ever want to just try to embarrass a team, and then because you don't ever, at some point you may be on that side of the ball also. So you just respect, I respect that program. And I'm not trying to just see how bad we can beat our opponent.
Have you had a game where that's happened before? Is that the first time? that's happened?
No, I've been in some before. Just can't remember.
How many times have you won by 72 points before?
Never as a head coach.
One of 13, they were on third down, 13 last week. I mean, they're doing a good job on that now.
Well, I've always said this, when we get a team at third down, and we have the pass rushers we have with Malden and Smith, and then the inside game, and especially when we put a speed out there with Malden and Smith, and then we bring Mount into Bosin, we can pressure quarterback, we can pressure the offensive line, and then we just need to cover in the back end. So you expect to get off the field. We talk about that all the time. There's some money down, get off the field on third down.
Can you talk about Brandon Dunn's level of play and how he has done as a leader so far for this defense this season?
Dunn is probably the most improved player, and how he's making a lot of plays. You see right before half, he gets a one tackle for a loss, but just his leadership, just how hard he's playing. And I said it's our staff yesterday in the staff meeting. I said it doesn't surprise me that our defensive line is playing so well because of how well our coach prepares him. Coach Hurt prepares them to play. And it shows. It shows on the film and how hard they play on the field. It's just how they carry themselves.
You
Charlie,
said
in a game like this-
you said on the Friday walkthrough that you told them we are nowhere near where we need to be. When you step back and look, where are you and where else do you need to go?
Well, if you look at just where we are, I just think that we still need to improve just fundamentally. And I say this all the time, our quarterback don't always make the right throws. He don't always make the right checks. Then our running backs, they need to learn how to just run through blockers. I mean, run through defenders. There's no one guy should ever tackle us. We need to run through tacklers. Our offensive line got to do a better job of blocking, period, whether it's run or pass. And then you look at some of the defensive side of the ball, we need to learn we got to get off blocks. We stay locked up on blocks too many times. And then in the back end, we got to do a better job of just covering receivers. We give up throws. You look at it last week against Kentucky, we gave up some big throws. And the special team wise, special team, where our players have to understand it is a vital role and plays a vital role in our program with offense and defense. A lot of times they just think it's a playoff. It isn't a playoff. So when you're on special teams, let's go out there and put the right guys out there.
You just went through every single one. I mean, is it possible for perfection?
Well, we try to reach it. I don't know if we're going to get there, but you're looking for it. And what the way you practice, you feel like that. With the time that we put in practice, that we should get better results sometime with what we get. But and then I tell the players all the time, it's just try to give your best. That's all I'm looking for, just your best, each and every down. And you're not out there that many plays. I said, you know what, at the end of the day, you're probably playing 60 plays, 4 to 6 seconds of play last. Just give me what you got.
So if I played harder, what could the score have been today?
Oh, I mean,
What do you try?
no, I would never do that.
What do you try to get out of the bye week now, and does it come at a good time?
Well, it's all about just individually just improving, and it's with the bye week. Now you get ready to go into your conference, so you take a break and you get into that conference right now.
Charlie, how do you decide in a game like this? What triggers your decision to pull your starters, especially Teddy?
I always say that, when the game's out of hand, you let them play a little to the third quarter, then get them out and get it, because you know what, the other team is not going to come back. So enough is enough. And I tell him all the time, you can get your individual throws and individual performance, but still, we're going to respect this game and respect the other team also.
Did you consider pulling him after Charles Gaines returned that and not starting the second half?
I don't. When Gaines return, it started second half. No, we talked about it, so we're just gonna let him play a little in the third quarter.
What can you say about Charlie Gaines? I mean, he made some big plays today. Is he finally maturing or closer to the direction of where you want him to go?
Well, he's still taking steps, and he's a player with a lot of ability, a lot of talent. We've known he's had that. Now it's just more of him now, just becoming a part of us, because we're not going to become him. So he just needs to become a part of the program, and he's taking steps, and he's doing the right things right now.
Replay shows
with the special teams, the field position you guys got, and Gaines at the recovery and the touchdown.
Right.
That you guys started so close, 50 or better so many times.
Well, that's why the special teams is critical, and that's why when you look at offense, defense, special teams, and you look at those guys in special teams like Gaines is a player, and you look at Kai is a player wide receiver for us, and so all those players that make plays on special teams are going to make them on offense and defense for us.
I want to ask about Will Gardner.
Say it again.
Do you have some more kind of first team guys on the kickoff unit today?
Did I have some more? Who
Yeah,
was
did
my
you
first
change that
team?
around a little bit?
Well, Sonoris is a start on kickoff. Pryor's a starter. You're talking about some of the guys that starters on kickoff. Keith Brown was out there today. And it's just like, we move them around. Mount was a starter, so we move guys around.
I just want to ask you about Will Gardner real fast. He completed all 5 of his passes out there today. How's his confidence coming along, and do you anticipate maybe using him further, say if you experience another game like that, giving him some more opportunity?
Well, Will's going to play just depending on how we play and just how overall offensively we play. And then, like today, we played well, so he's going to get those opportunities. He has a lot of confidence because I think the more he plays, the more his confidence arises. And he needs to play because you just never know when he's going to need it.
So there's
Devontae.
no quarterback controversy?
I know it's an issue for me right now. I got to have that's a major issue for me.
I just want to ask, are we going to maybe see more of James Cook on the field on special teams perhaps?
Well, Quake is, he's going to play some wide receiver, and he will play some special. And he's a young player, just still learning.
Devontae seemed pretty adamant that his foot was down. How much do you have to rely on a player to say, you know, I was in, coach, get him to review it?
Well, I did because the guys upstairs could tell me. So, because a lot of times the players may think that they're right and they can be wrong. So I didn't listen to Devontae. When I coached upstairs.
Coach, I asked Teddy, he didn't have an answer. If you're a defensive back, how do you stop the Devontae line?
Yeah, you can. Because I just think this because he's vertical. He can jump because he's going to go up over you, and then it's amazing to watch his vertical leap. He does it to us every day in practice. So I just say, hey, we're getting a red zone, just throw it up there, give him enough room, and he's gonna come down.
Coach, in the past you said that you were going to go with the 2 running back system, but today we saw more of a balance. We had 4 running backs in the touchdown. Are we going to see more of that going forward?
Well, if you look at it, first and second down has been Sonoris, and Dyer, and third down has been Dominique. So all 3 of them are playing well right now. We just continue to play all 3 of them, and then that is just sorting way out. So right now we're doing good with it. So I guess I'm gonna stick with it. I can't say anything. You'll bring it out.
Coach,
Go ahead.
is this one of the deepest teams that you've had a chance to coach in your career?
Well, it's so deep because if you look at the running back position, there's 3. The offensive line is probably where we need more depth, because right now we're playing with 6 at the offensive line, but every other position you have another player. And competition, it brings out the best because you look at their running back position, they're all competitive right now because they just know they're going to get so many touches, and they have to when they do get their touch, they got to take advantage of it.
Charlie, not to dwell on it, but it's kind of, I guess Coach Turner said that there was not a running clock. I mean, can you just kind of explain exactly what happened?
It's not so much a running clock. I just said, hey, we don't need to slow the game down. Let's just keep moving. It's not so much a rule, just because I think the clock gets stopped. It's not so much like when we play spring game where we just let the clock run in the second half and try to get on down there. It wasn't not so much of a running clock, but we did try to speed it up. Okay.
Turtleneck again?
Huh?
Turtleneck again?